Picture this. You're at a restaurant, and while your child is throwing a tantrum, the Japanese family at the next table sits peacefully, their children eating quietly and speaking in soft voices. You've probably wondered what their secret is. Well, today I'm going to reveal 10 powerful Japanese parenting techniques that create remarkably calm and cooperative children. And the best part is, you can start using these methods tonight. What makes Japanese children so different? It's not genetics or luck. Japanese parents have developed a systematic approach to raising children that prioritizes emotional security, community awareness, and internal motivation over external control. These aren't just cultural quirks, they're scientifically sound methods that work because they align with how children naturally develop emotionally and socially. Let me start with the most fundamental principle that changes everything about how we think about discipline. The first secret is called amai, which means creating unshakable emotional security. In Japanese parenting philosophy, children need to feel completely safe and deeply loved before they can develop true independence and self-control. This might sound counterintuitive to Western parents who worry about creating spoiled children, but here's how it actually works. Japanese mothers stay physically close to their young children, respond immediately to their emotional needs, and create what psychologists call secure attachment. They're not teaching helplessness, they're building a foundation of trust so strong that children naturally want to maintain harmony with their parents. When a child feels completely secure in their parents' love, they don't need to act out for attention because they already have all the emotional connection they need. This security becomes the bedrock for everything else. A securely attached child doesn't fight boundaries because they trust their parent completely. They cooperate not from fear, but from love and the desire to maintain that precious relationship. The second secret transforms how children learn appropriate behavior without constant nagging or lecturing. Japanese parents rarely give long explanations about what children should do. Instead, they consistently model the exact behavior they want to see, allowing children to absorb these patterns naturally. Here's a practical example. If a Japanese mother wants her child to speak quietly in public, she doesn't repeatedly tell them to lower their voice. She consistently speaks softly herself, especially in public spaces. She might quietly say, "Let's use our inside voices," while demonstrating what that sounds like. Children are natural imitators, and they absorb behavioral standards from what they observe daily. This modeling approach works because children learn far more from what we do than what we say. When you consistently demonstrate calmness during stressful moments, respect for others, and care for shared spaces, your child begins mirroring these qualities automatically. They're not following rules imposed from outside, they're internalizing standards they see as normal and natural. The third secret shifts children's thinking from "what do I want?" to "what's best for everyone." Japanese culture emphasizes collective harmony over individual desires, and this shows up powerfully in parenting approaches. Instead of focusing solely on the child's wants, Japanese parents help children consider how their actions affect others around them. When a child wants something that might inconvenience others, parents gently redirect by asking, "How would this affect our family?" Or, "What would happen if everyone did this?" For instance, if a child is being loud in a restaurant, instead of saying, "Stop that behavior right now," a Japanese parent might whisper, "Let's think about the other families trying to enjoy their dinner." This approach builds empathy and social awareness from an early age. Children learn that their choices create ripples that touch other people. When kids understand they're part of something larger than themselves, they naturally become more considerate and cooperative. They're not just following arbitrary rules, they're caring about their community and family unit. The fourth secret revolutionizes how children learn from their mistakes without creating resentment or power struggles. Japanese parents rarely use traditional punishments like timeouts, taking away privileges, or imposing consequences. Instead, they allow natural outcomes to teach the lessons while maintaining emotional support. If a child refuses to wear a coat on a cold day, A Japanese parent might allow them to go outside and experience being chilly, then offer the coat without saying, "I told you this would happen." If a child breaks a toy by handling it roughly, they experience the natural disappointment of not having that toy anymore. The parent remains calm and empathetic, perhaps saying, "That must feel disappointing. What can we learn from this experience?" There's no anger, no lectures, no emotional drama. Reality becomes the teacher, while the parent stays connected and supportive. This method works incredibly well because children connect their choices directly to outcomes without the emotional baggage of punishment. They're not resentful toward the parent, they simply learn that actions naturally lead to consequences. The fifth secret builds genuine responsibility and self-worth through meaningful contribution. From very young ages, Japanese children receive real responsibilities within their families and communities. Toddlers help set the table, preschoolers serve lunch to classmates, and elementary students clean their own classrooms without adult supervision. This isn't about assigning chores as punishment or busy work. It's about teaching children that they're capable contributors whose efforts matter. Japanese parents believe that when children have meaningful roles, they develop genuine pride, competence, and sense of belonging. A practical example might be giving a 4-year-old responsibility for watering plants each morning or helping fold washcloths after laundry. The parent doesn't redo the task to make it perfect. They accept the child's effort and express genuine appreciation. This approach creates respectful children because kids who contribute regularly feel valued and understand that their actions help others. The sixth secret eliminates power struggles through respectful persistence. Japanese parents avoid direct confrontation and battles of will. Instead of demanding immediate compliance, they use gentle but unwavering guidance that acknowledges the child's feelings while maintaining clear boundaries. If a child refuses to leave the playground, a Japanese parent won't yell or physically force them to go. They might kneel down to the child's level, acknowledge the emotion by saying, "I can see you're having so much fun and don't want to leave." Then gently redirect with, "We need to go home now, but we can return tomorrow. Would you like to go down the slide one more time, or say goodbye to the swings?" They give the child a moment to process the information, remain completely calm, and repeat the expectation as many times as necessary without showing anger or frustration. The key insight is that the boundary never changes, but the delivery remains respectful throughout the process. The seventh secret teaches emotional regulation through adult calmness during difficult moments. Japanese parents understand that children learn to manage their emotions by experiencing calm, regulated adults, especially when they're feeling overwhelmed themselves. When a child has a meltdown, a Japanese parent doesn't match that intensity with yelling, threats, or attempts to immediately stop the behavior. Instead, they become a calm anchor, staying physically close, keeping their voice soft and steady, and waiting patiently for the emotional storm to pass. They might say quietly, "I'm here with you. Let's breathe together slowly." This approach works because the parent's nervous system literally helps regulate the child's nervous system. Over time, children internalize this ability to pause, breathe, and self-soothe during difficult emotions. This skill becomes the foundation for all future self-discipline and emotional maturity. The eighth secret involves strategic timing of guidance and correction. One of the most revealing discoveries about Japanese parenting is that they rarely address behavioral issues in the moment, especially in public settings. Instead, they wait for private moments to have calm conversations about what happened and what could be done differently next time. I observed this pattern repeatedly when watching Japanese families. If a child misbehaved on public transportation, the parent would calmly manage the immediate situation, then later find a quiet corner to crouch down and have a respectful conversation with the child about the incident. This approach preserves the child's dignity, avoids public embarrassment, and creates space for meaningful learning rather than reactive correction. Children are more receptive to guidance when they're not feeling defensive or humiliated, and parents can think more clearly about their response when they're not under social pressure. The ninth secret focuses on building internal motivation rather than external compliance. Japanese parents spend considerable energy helping children understand the reasons behind expectations, rather than simply demanding obedience. They want children to cooperate because they understand why something matters, not just because an authority figure said so. For example, when teaching children to be quiet in certain spaces, they explain that libraries need to be peaceful so everyone can concentrate on reading, or that hospitals need to be calm so sick people can rest. Children who understand the purpose behind rules are much more likely to follow them voluntarily, even when no one is watching. This approach creates children who are internally motivated to do the right thing because they understand how their behavior impacts others and contributes to everyone's well-being. It's the difference between obedience based on fear and cooperation based on understanding and caring. The 10th and final secret involves creating predictable routines and clear expectations that help children feel secure and know what's expected of them. Japanese children thriving partly because their daily lives follow consistent patterns that reduce anxiety and decision fatigue. From morning routines to mealtime behaviors to bedtime procedures, Japanese families establish clear sequences that children can predict and follow independently. This isn't rigidity for its own sake. It's creating structure that supports good decision-making and reduces opportunities for conflict. When children know what comes next and understand their role in daily activities, they can focus their energy on learning and growing, rather than constantly negotiating basic expectations. The predictability actually creates more freedom, because children feel confident and secure within clear boundaries. Now that you understand these 10 principles, you might be wondering how to implement them in your own family. The good news is that you don't need to transform everything overnight. Small, consistent changes often create the most lasting results. Start by choosing just 1 or 2 approaches that address your family's biggest challenges. If your child struggles with responsibility, begin with meaningful daily tasks they can handle successfully. If power struggles are your main concern, practice the gentle persistence approach during low-stakes situations first. Remember that modeling consistent behavior is absolutely crucial. Children learn primarily through observation. So if you want calm, respectful kids, you need to embody those qualities, especially during difficult moments when it feels most challenging. Be patient with the process and with yourself as you learn new approaches. Japanese parenting methods work because they're applied consistently over time, building character slowly and deeply, rather than demanding instant compliance. Every family situation is unique, and you don't need to follow these approaches perfectly to see positive results. The goal is adapting these principles in ways that fit your family's values and circumstances, while maintaining the core focus on emotional security, respectful guidance, and internal motivation. Which of these 10 Japanese parenting secrets resonated most strongly with your current situation? Have you already been using some of these approaches without realizing their connection to this philosophy? I'd love to hear about your experiences and any questions you have about implementing these ideas with your own children. If you found these insights helpful, make sure to subscribe for more evidence-based parenting strategies that actually work in real family situations. Remember, parenting is a long journey of growth for both you and your children, and small, consistent improvements create remarkable results over time.